Fellas, it's season 2.5, and with that brings some changes to the meta. In this case, we're looking at the Vanguard. Now, I actually think this is the worst season for Vanguards to play in. I don't think there's been an issue with actually getting a tank on the team, but it's been almost just like a slog for them. I know last season was really bad for supports, but this season I think it's almost just worse. With that, let's get into it to see what we are working with. Just as a start, of course, he's been here all the time. It's Magneto. He used to be really beautiful with his team up with Wanda, but he's still really good even with the nerfs to his shield and bubble. He did get a damage buff, which is really good. Only real complaint, as always, is his ultimate. Sometimes it breaks, sometimes it just clips, but when you do land it, it's really good. He is a great front tank, especially in the current setup, because he has his shield, although not a long one, but he has a decent enough shield, and he has projectiles that can moderately hit the flyers. I'm honestly not too sure what can make him better besides buffing his shields, but even then, he is just fine enough at the moment. I would like him to get a different team up than with Emma. Either way, he is without a doubt the best tank as a general. Obviously, some tanks are better than others for different roles, but just as a basic frontline tank, Magneto's perfect. There's not any bad tanks per se this season. The thing, while he is an easy tank to play, is a B tier at the moment, because when half the enemy team is flying, he can't do shit about that. He's really good for divers, but the diving meta is not as common as it once was. And so when you can punch 2 feet in front of you and the flyers are 10 feet above you, your ult doesn't hit them, you're not hitting them. It's not a throwaway character, but he's situationally good now. Actually, above him, where is she? We do have Penny. I do think she is situationally better than the Thing. With Penny, she did get a lot of buffs recently. She is really good. Still kind of annoying, but you really need to have your nest set up. And then her team up with Rocket is also really good. But if you destroy the nest, which isn't too hard to do, and with the Jeff and Storm team up, you do see a Jeff just a little bit more common, and now he can damage through things, meaning he can take out the nest pretty easy. Her effectiveness does vary just a tiny bit, but she's very strong, good for setting up traps. If she has the right amount of time for setup, and she's not on the really attacking side of the convoy maps, she is one of the best tanks to have. She could deal with the flyers somewhat, she could deal with dives somewhat. Not so much of a shield tank, she will get melted. Now, I do want to clarify, I'm not saying any of the tanks are bad. Please, for the love of God, play a tank this season. These ones are more situationally good as opposed to overall good. Next, we do have Captain America for an A tier. Last season especially, Captain America was a menace to deal with. Great survivability, he gets in, dives your backline, beats the crap out of your people. Whether he kills them or not is really not a make or break thing. It's just being a nuisance and causing the havoc. And then if your team does die and you have the captain on your team, that man is going to be running around, staying on point until the end. I played him a little bit last season, and in the same fights, I was able to ult like 2 to 3 times. That should be happening with Captain America. Nowadays, he was nerfed yet again. Less health, longer for his shield to regen, and I think his ultimate takes a little bit longer to recharge. He is worse than what he was last season. Yes, he was way too much last season. He's still really effective and really good now. Captain America is an odd one, kind of like Venom in that regard, where actually that's a good point. Let me just add him up here too, because they're kind of the same but kind of different. Both of these characters, Venom and Captain America, they go into the backline, cause havoc, and then get out. They're both tough to kill. With Venom, you get him low health, you pop your E ability, boom, back to full health, and he's out. They can get picks if someone is low enough, but more often than not, it's just cause havoc, get out. They're good for body blocking. Captain America does have a shield. Venom can just absorb a ton of shit. And then with both of their ultimates, Venom gets a ton of health. Captain America gets survivability, I would say. And so they're both very tough to put down. They both do have team ups. With Bucky, where you clap, I think I've seen it once. And then with Jeff, he gets tendrils. If you're playing Jeff, you really should be all that close to people, but I digress. You play him how you want to play him. And so with both of these two heroes, they are uniformly good. They both have their own purpose. However, they're not the best for going up and creating space or taking space, although they can. They're more for getting into the backline, causing havoc and survivability, which is a universally good thing to have. The reason why that is better than, say, the Thing or for Penny, with both these guys, at least they can hit people in the air. They have some reach. And then with Penny, it's really only on specific times with setup. And I do think having a dive character is important too. And both of these heroes, Venom and Captain America, really help make them shine. Let's look at another one, a big one, that is Emma Frost. Forgot her name. Their ultimate is kind of They were really like a frightening force the first couple of weeks they were out, but right now she can deal with the divers. She can somewhat deal with the flyers. She has an okay shield and an ability to soak up damage somewhat. Emma Frost is a very strong pick. She's a very good frontline tank, but mostly she's good at taking care of herself or those immediately close to her, which is where I think Magneto shines just a little bit better. She does have the anchor. She did get a recent buff to her basic attack to make it go longer, and now she can get charge off of Groot walls, which is really good. Honestly, there's not much more that she needs. She's a really strong tank at the moment with a lot of utility. One of the best. I haven't had a lot of time to play her. She is relatively easy to pick up and play. You just have to actually keep track of her abilities, but she'll take you a long way. These guys are at the low end of A tier, and I think Hulk is definitely above them. Hulk did lose his team up for Iron Man. Not the end of the world. Iron Man didn't need the team up. He was already super effective as it is. But a good Hulk, able to get in, throw his shield, get out. He can like somewhat deal with the flyers. Just somewhat. Not the best, but he can somewhat deal with the flyers. He kind of like the Thing is very limited in his range. The reason why he's up higher is because he can actually get his ass up and jump at the flyers, and he has a shield. With good game sense, he also does have his stud ability that basically removes another player from the game for a few seconds, unless you hit them, which is more beneficial than I once thought it was. It is really strong if used right. His shield I find is kind of sometimes it's good, sometimes it just takes a little bit too long to actually get out. Hulk is really strong. He does get banned a lot still, oddly. I'm not sure why he's still getting banned so much when there's better picks. He has a lot of health. If you kill Hulk, you have Bruce Banner. More often than not, he gets slaughtered, but you do have a chance to not die and come back. He does have good synergy. He's a good solid pick. I would hate to see him as a solo tank, but good solid pick nonetheless. I'd rather have a tank than no tank. And then we have Doctor Strange at the top of A tier. Doctor Strange has been getting nerfed since basically season 0. He's a little bit weaker, a little bit worse, but in the end, he's honestly not that bad. He can solo tank, although it is better to have someone else tank as well. Big ass shield, blocks a ton of projectiles, which is fantastic in this season of flyers, but a little bit kind of weak. And then if he does solo tank, and this is the real issue with him, his dark magic charges up. If he's at the max meter, he can't be healed. And so when you're trying to solo tank but can't be healed, it really puts him in a tough spot to deal with things. His ultimate and E combo now is very strong. His ultimate he can be countered out of. I think he needs a little bit more. It needs to be just a little bit faster because he feels really slow with it. You can do surprise attacks, but I think it just needs to be a tiny bit faster. I played a lot of Doctor Strange, not last season, but I think the last half season before that. He's very strong and powerful. He does have a really good team up with Wanda, but then you need to have a Wanda, and I still stand that Wanda really isn't the greatest. She's good for dealing with divers, yes, and a good Wanda can be a pain in the butt to deal with, yes, but I think there's better choices normally. And then of course he has his portals where he can block off ways or get a team back to point. He can solo tank, just a little bit worse than Magneto. And then if you're dealing with people who are just using a brawler type build, so you got a BP, you got a magic, you got a cheaper town hall, I cannot think of his name, but I'm looking at him. You have a Thor as the enemy tank. Your shield isn't going to do anything, and for that reason, that's why he's in the A tier, but at the top of it, as he's still super strong. Groot is easy Esther. He gets banned every game still. Groot is very daunting to play the first time you play him, but he's very easy to pick up, and once you learn him, it's like riding a bicycle. It's very easy to get back and going. He's super strong. His ult charges really fast. His walls are a big pain to deal with. He has a ton of health. He does move a little bit slow, yeah, but so do some of the other tanks anyways. It does force the enemy team to have to switch up their comp if they want to try to win. He is strikingly easy to play, can be annoying for your teammates and for the enemy team as well. So it's you gotta take the good with the bad. A very simple and nice and effective tank to play, but he does get banned a ton, so it's kind of tricky to actually learn to play him in ranked. He's still very fun. He's my top 3 tanks at the moment. And then lastly, we have Thor. I think Thor is bottom of B tier. I think the Thing is just slightly better than him. We got the rework. The rework is really nice to use. It's very different than how he once was. However, it makes him feel more like a projectile brawler than someone who is actually a tank. He's very low health. He has no shield. He does have okay-ish survivability, which is good for a tank, but effectively he's just a kind of weak, beefy DPS. Not going to be the guy you want to solo tank. He will get melted. He's not blocking projectiles unless it's with his body and then he dies. He's not stopping ultimates. He's not moving around fast. What Thor does is he hits you with his hammer, throws some lightning bolts at you. Hopefully you're dead by that point. Otherwise, he has a spinny hammer that he can try to kidnap you back to your team. I do like Thor a lot. I think he's a very strong character. I think he was a lot better previously with his anchor. You don't want to see him as a solo tank. His ultimate is okay. It can kill support ultimates. I will say that. I don't know if it takes too long. I don't know what it is about his ultimate. It needs to change up a little bit because right now it's just not working for how I need it. Still very good. Just he's a good off pick. I'd rather have a main tank and a Thor with 2 DPS over 1 tank and then 3 random DPS, because at least that offers some team synergy. But just Thor alone it's not it. And that is all the tanks at the moment. Squirrel Girl's an F. I don't care what list it is, she deserves the bottom. And so this is where I think presently the tanks sit. Obviously, things do change over time, even during the season as patches happen. All of the Vanguard are strong in their own way. No one is below B tier. They're all good Vanguard. Play the Vanguards, please. And that's a wrap on this Marvel Rivals Vanguard tier list in Season 2.5. Still a little early, so things may change, but presently this is where they are. Hit that like button if you're still watching, subscribe for more videos like this if you haven't already, and stay tuned for the next one. YouTube thinks you like this video next? Let me know if you do.